France has apparently widened its crackdown on terror in the wake of a series of deadly attacks across the country. It's now clamping down on those who welcome acts of terrorism, even children. In Marseille, a 14-year-old Afghan boy has been charged over remarks he allegedly made about the killing of schoolteacher Sympathy, who was beheaded by an 18-year-old Muslim in October. Paty was brutally murdered after allegedly showing cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad in a class on free speech. The teenager who commented on his death has been released but will remain under supervision. It's been demanded by prosecutors that he also be banned from school and from communicating with other students or teachers. There have been an increasing number of inquiries opened into young people. The latest probes involve children as young as 8. Many are under suspicion for interrupting a minute's silence held in memory of Samuel Paty and allegedly saying his death was deserved. In the wake of the tragedy, more than 60 similar investigations have been opened into supporting terror.
The questioning often involves young people aged 12 to 16 who have used extremely repugnant language inspired by the Islamic State group, which is very worrying.
We discussed with guests the spread of radicalisation among young people.
I don't think that the fact that they are minors should blind us to the extent of this problem. There is a huge amount of sympathy for Islamic terrorism among young people, not necessarily minors, although perhaps including minors, of Muslim extraction.
If you put them in jail, it's not going to help them because they're going to be radicalized in the jails, and they're going to get out even worse.
We have huge amounts of immigrants in France, and I'm afraid to say that the existence of these immigrant communities is a breeding ground for Islamic fundamentalism, and fundamentalism is a breeding ground for terrorism.
Immigration has nothing to do with terrorism. You have a lot of immigrants in France. You have a lot of Muslim immigrants in France who are in accord with the French law, with the French way of living. I defend some immigrants which are not at all okay with radical Islam. I'm an immigrant myself, and I'm here in France. I have nothing to do with the radical Islam. That's not the fact of immigration.
Immigration is part of the problem. It is, to some extent, a cause, and it has to be stopped. It's still continuing at a rate of several 100,000 a year into France. And those levels are unsustainable, incidentally, independently of the question of Islamic terrorism.
You have a lot of terrorism that are committed by French people who have changed religion, who have become Muslim, and those people are French.
That's completely untrue. There are no examples of French Catholics, Muslim converts committing terrorist acts. 100% of the Islamic terrorists who have beheaded people or killed them in other ways in France in the last few years, and indeed this problem has been going on actually for decades now, 100% of them have either been recent immigrants or issued, or they come from immigrant backgrounds like the Chechen who decapitated the schoolteacher.
It's not immigration the cause, but it's the radical Islam is the cause of the problem.